Divorce. What is divorce? Divorce is a hard task for anyone to go through and to suffer through. According to the dictionary, the definition of divorce is the legal dissolution of a marriage by a court or other competent body. Also, a separation between things that were or ought to be connected. How does divorce affect extended family? You are told when you get married you are marrying the family, not just your spouse. In-laws who become more than just an in-law now must pick a side. Aunts and uncles have a harder time now trying to see their niece or nephew due to the dissolution of the marriage and possible conflicts. The grandparents even suffer. In most cases, the extended family has had nothing to do with whatever issue has arose to cause the split between the couple. Blood family often trumps that family that was achieved through the union which has been dissolved. In-laws lose the connection they had with any children involved, especially the grandparents, on whichever side did not receive custody of the children. This usually makes it harder for the grandparents to be able to spoil or visit their grandchildren, and causes one to be angry with the other. Children's bonds. Parents need to ensure that any bond their child has with an adult is not severed, especially in-laws, aunts, uncles, and grandparents. Do not punish the child due to something an adult said. The children need consistency and reliability in order to build trust. This goes back to making sure that the bonds are not broken between a child and an adult. Let the child know that the divorce is not their fault. Divorce is especially hard on stepchildren or adopted children and the family they believed they had gained. Take stepchildren, for example. Most have already been through one divorce. Now they're going through a second and questioning what's happening now. Will they still get to be part of this family or not? Will they still have those siblings they gained? The aunts, uncles, another set of grandparents? So many questions that these children have, and most times no answer. The divorce obviously causes conflict within the families. Oftentimes the family ends up believing that they must pick a side, but sometimes this causes conflict and prejudiced feelings toward the other side. You do not have to abandon the whole family after you leave your husband or wife. One quote states, "A divorce may separate a couple, but it doesn't necessarily extend to members of the other's family." This was by Weigel in 2014 in a Chicago newspaper. A prime example of this was when my parents got divorced. My mother's side of the family still considers my father part of their family. They don't really have as much to do with my mother, who was actually their blood family, but they still consider him family, ask about him every day, and even offered help moving him up to Michigan from here in Kentucky. Prime example, you don't lose the family half the time, only sometimes. Divorce in the Bible. Almost every scripture that I could find in the Bible about divorce left one or both parties as an adulterer. A prime example was found in Matthew 5, verse 31 and 32. It has been said, anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce. But I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife, except for sexual immorality, makes her the victim of adultery, and anyone who marries a divorced woman commits adultery. But one thing remains true always. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 33. However, each one of you also must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband. Without the wife loving and respecting her husband, the husband does not always love his wife. Without these two things, the marriage is almost positively going to end in a divorce, which affects everybody, not just the two involved. Here are a couple thoughtful questions for you. If you've ever been through a divorce, did you worry about how it would affect the extended family? The in-laws, grandparents, aunts, uncles? or just your immediate family, you, yourself, your spouse, your child? Do you believe it's true that you marry the family when you marry your spouse, and therefore you also divorce the family when you divorce your spouse? Or do you believe in circumstances where, yes, you divorced your spouse, but the family still claims you as theirs, just as your family claims them as theirs still? Thank you for viewing my presentation, and I hope this was educational for you.